All right, guys. It's now time for our review discussions. I don't like saying review. Our film discussions. But spoiler alert. Actually, not really spoiler alert. Just here's a little notification, little thing for you guys to know. With Dune, we've technically already covered this before. But Matt, you said, I don't remember you covering Dune. Well, remember how we released an episode of Spider-Man No Way Home instead of a normal episode? Well, we planned to do 2 episodes that week, but we had some technical issues. That's why we haven't covered Spider-Verse or Sonic 2, but we'll cover them eventually another time. But we really thought it'd be great to talk about Dune still, because Dune is Dune. I think we all can agree it's one of our favorite movies of the year. So let's just get into it real quick before we get into The Matrix, French Dispatch, and Don't Look Up. Who wants to go first? Who wants to talk about Dune first?
I'll go, I guess. Yeah, I'll go.
Say it with confidence.
Yeah.
Say it with confidence. Yeah. So guys, if we seem a little bit like, I don't know, I don't seem to be getting real deep, it's because we've already talked.
We've already reviewed it before.
Done it before.
Yeah. But we want to chat about it with you guys because we love you.
So happy to talk about it again though, because I loved it. I thought it was flawless in every single aspect. My favorite part was the use of real prosthetics and makeup as opposed to CGI, as well as the sets that made it have that grandeur it's supposed to have, because it's a big book. It's a really big story, and that's what it needs to make it feel super real. And Denis Villeneuve has said in multiple interviews how he grew up with the book from about 6 years old, and you can feel the love that he has for it in every single bit of effort he put into it. I loved the acting. I loved the characters. Like, even the villains were incredible. Skarsgård was disgusting and slimy and creepy, and I'm really looking forward to... Look, I don't know the ending, but I hope that there's a really intense demise for his character. I thought Timothée Chalamet carried the film really effortlessly, and I was just blown away. For me, it didn't feel like a 3-hour film. I was happy to keep going. I was just sitting there waiting for more.
What about you, Jesse?
Yep, exact same feelings. I loved it. I said in the last review, when we reviewed it the other 2 weeks ago, that it felt like more... I don't know anything about the past of it. I haven't read the Frank Herbert novels or anything like that. But I do love Denis Villeneuve, and I did say in the last podcast, to me, he's one of the best modern day Hollywood directors, in my opinion. So visually, it looked absolutely amazing. The characters were all intriguing. I thought Stellan Skarsgård, his villain was so interesting. I loved sort of the visual, because Denis Villeneuve is very visual heavy, and his character was just so interesting, captivating, and there was interesting creature designs, and I was just invested throughout the whole thing. I think the only criticism I had was the lore, which I said was not necessarily a critique of Denis Villeneuve, because Dune has, from what I understand, a lot of lore, and it's quite, they'd be talking about stuff that I wouldn't fully understand. I'd kind of get the gist of what they were saying, but it took me a little bit out of it. But that, if I had to, that's, really the only criticism I could have of the movie. Besides that, I thought it was fantastic. I was captivated. The runtime just flew past for me as well. So I haven't seen the David Lynch version, but I'm kind of interested to see that, even though David Lynch famously hates that he made that movie. Just to compare it. Absolutely fantastic. Probably one of my favorite films of the year, possibly. So
awesome. Yeah, look, I think my in regards to your criticism of the lore, like I get it. It's the same problem I think a lot of people have with Game of Thrones, which is like all these crazy names going back and forth. It was a little hard to follow at times. I think I had a little bit better time like following it than you did, but probably not by much. I think what really helped me was the factions, the families. They were pretty clearly different. So while I might not remember the name, I remember they're the good ones, they're the bad ones. Like you have the main good guys, the bad guys look real bad, and then you got like the desert people. So that really helped. But yeah, on top of that, it's a large cast.
There's a lot of characters.
The fact that, but I think it'll be easier going forward since most of them die in this movie. Oh, spoilers! But I was actually disappointed by that because some of them, like for example, Jason Momoa.
Oh, he's so badass. He was so badass in this.
Best performance I've ever seen him do. I was actually disappointed seeing him die because, and he died like a fucking champ. Like he had such a great, he went out protecting the prince, and
it genuinely sucks that he is not gonna be in the second part.
Yeah, I'm really bummed he's not going to be in the second one. He's like, fuck, you were like one of my favorite parts of this one, but he went out in such a cool way. So it's like he earned the ability not to leave, and obviously like Oscar Isaac as well. But yeah, while like following that stuff was a little bit of a challenge, I love the lore. I don't know anything about Dune going into this. But I loved learning. I actually really loved how the pacing was so slow. They took your time so you could learn, you could take in the surroundings and the scenery, and it was like, this is what I want Star Wars to do, which is ironic because this helped inspire Star Wars. But with Star Wars, like they visit like 5 planets in a movie. You're at each planet for about 15 minutes. Sometimes they're interesting. But a lot of the times, you don't really see much of it. And this film, we got to see how the life is like and the politics. And I describe it as, and I'm sure others have as well, but it's Star Wars meets Game of Thrones. And it so is.
I said it was an adult Star Wars. It felt like an adult Star Wars to me. And it's the closest thing I felt to like a Star Wars movie in like years and years and years. So
yeah, and going in, look, I was a little bit reserved because the director, Denis Villeneuve, am I saying that right?
Denis Villeneuve.
Denis Villeneuve. Look, I wasn't the biggest fan of Blade Runner 2049.
Ooh.
Controversial.
Oh, no, I don't hate it, but like it was just I don't know, like it set out to be a neo-noir film, and it really accomplished that, but it didn't really click with me for some reason. But I loved Arrival, which he did.
Yeah.
So, but those are both sci-fi films, but they're both very, very different. So I kind of came in not really knowing what to expect, but I was pleasantly surprised. I can't remember the last time I saw a film where I was that engaged all the time. Like, I sat next to you, Jess, while seeing it.
Yeah.
And there was times I wanted to lean over and whisper to you and say, oh my God, can you believe that? How cool is that? But at the same time, I didn't want to talk to you because I didn't want to miss a freaking microsecond.
Yeah, we just remained quiet throughout the whole movie. So,
it was being sucked into the screen. It was amazing.
Can I just bring up a funny thing? I saw this funny meme about about Dune yesterday, and yes, I'm going to use a Simpsons reference, but someone put this hilarious meme up, and it was like that. Do you remember that scene where Marge goes to do the cop training, and that there's that crazy guy's like, enough about the training. When do we get the freaking guns? And someone put up a meme. It was like, enough about the law. When do we get the freaking worms?
Oh my God, that's amazing.
Yeah.
You know what though? It goes to show you that a movie of this length can be absolutely as captivating as one that producers might think, let's cut it down, and let's jam everything into one, because people don't have that attention span anymore. Not true.
Yeah, it's like this movie, it's not a popcorn film, which is rare for sci-fi. I think Denis Villeneuve, am I saying it right now?
Yeah.
Denis Villeneuve, he's built a good reputation for like I do sci-fi, but it's serious. Like, it's I'm treating it with respect and all that. Like, you don't want this. Like, you wouldn't want him to do Star Wars because. Sorry, we would like him to do Star Wars, but Disney would hate him to do Star Wars because he's not like, the kids. Their attention span isn't going to last for that.
Yeah.
Although he could direct the fuck out of The Mandalorian if you let him.
Oh my god, that would be a dream. Imagine.
Because honestly, like, it feels like The Mandalorian is kind of inspired by this, but this came out later, like, because it does the same sort of things to some extent, but Dune just does it with such a level of sophistication. In fact, at one point, I was watching it and was sort of thinking to myself, maybe this shouldn't be a movie. Maybe this should be a TV show so you could explore even further. But at the same time, I'm just so grateful it's a movie because when do you get a movie like this at this level that it's like everything that makes a TV show great. Like you can dive into relationships, you can dive into world building and all that stuff. Like that's where TV starts to shine. But they were doing that in a movie and they were like, we don't care about the runtime.
Yeah.
We just want you to be encapsulated by it all. And I just can't believe they pulled it off. It is a masterpiece, honestly. And I swear to God, part 2, it better be as good. I'm so excited.
Midnight screening, I'm there. And I have to honestly commend Denis for just letting his sci-fi fanboy come first, because in everything he touches you can see that it's coming straight from the depths of his soul, which is really, really missing in a lot of movies that get this sort of budget, and he really cares about it.
It's a passion with love.
Yes
So
I will admit, like, I am starting to get sick of the green screen CGI we are starting to see. Like, even in Spider-Man No Way Home, amazing film, but there are times when, like, this feels a bit too fake for me. And I guess that's why Eternals was such a breath of fresh air. But I would love for more big budget films to take the approach this one did. More prosthetics. Instead of green screen, obviously use the what they call those LED walls they've got now. Like, just do whatever you can to make it feel more real. Because the way this film did it, the scale of it, just everything just felt like it mattered more. And
it's the same with like Lord of the Rings, or even Spielberg's films still hold up. Like, I watched Jaws the other week, and those mechanics make it 50,000 times better than any of those like Piranha or whatever movies that are out now. Sharknado, I don't even know, but like.
And the pacing really helps too. Like letting the actors chew the scenery, letting them have conversations that are more than just exposition dumps and a little joke here and there. It makes everything feel more real, and this is just a great reminder of how you can do that. Just because it's sci-fi, just because it's fantasy, doesn't mean it has to be popcorn flick, you know?
Yeah.
Exactly.